The Lakers win last night over the Utah Jazz, score 140 points. LeBron James looked very comfortable in his side piece booty call role. Scored 11 points last night. He did what Luka asked him to do. Hey, LeBron, we need you to do this. We need you to do that. I thought he looked very comfortable. Jay, what did you see?
Yeah, I thought LeBron did. He did exactly what he had to do in game one. Now, Jason, can he continue to do that as the season goes on? Again, I'm still, highly speculative. I think it is at this point. I just don't see it. Last night, not only was Luka Doncic the main guy, but Austin Reeves, who's been great all season long when he's gotten the opportunity. He had 26 points as well. And he only got 11 shots last night, by the way. So Austin Reeves, 26 points on 7 of 11. Jason, what if I were to tell you that DeAndre Ayton, former number 1 overall pick, he had 20 points and 14 rebounds. LeBron James only took 7 shots. He scored only 11 points. Is this guy going to be okay rolling it out for the next 3-4 months straight as the third or fourth scoring option? I just don't know. Like, he's okay in limited minutes last night. He's okay. He had the long layoff. They're playing a bad Utah Jazz team. So I think, the verdict is not in yet, Jason. The jury is still out. Night one, so far so good. But they didn't really overwhelm me from a defensive standpoint, which, I'll turn it back over to you and Paul right now, but I think that's my primary concern with the Lakers moving forward is defensively. And they gave up 71 points at halftime to the lowly Utah Jazz. And look, they blew them out in the fourth quarter, but this was a 1-point game with like 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. So like the fact that the Utah Jazz are on their home court with all of their players, back and healthy and firing on all cylinders, I'm really not as high on the Lakers right now as other people are this morning.
Well, you've made some progress, though. You were making pretty declarative statements just a week ago. No way LeBron James could do this. No way. And now you're like, well, we'll see. So he has made. Last night did score some points for LeBron for you, correct?
For sure, for one game, yes, absolutely. If he can sustain this and play this way, then they have an opportunity to maximize that roster and be, as good as that team possibly could be. Which in maybe several other years, Jason, this might have been an NBA championship caliber team, but the Western Conference, I think, is just too stacked and too loaded for this team to really make waves come playoff time.
Paul, here's one thing I think Scap is underestimating. I think LeBron is going to be celebrated if he plays a deferential role and does it for a sustained period. I think you're going to see his sycophants in the media start. LeBron, Michael Jordan could never do this. He could never subvert his ego. Look at Michael Jordan, even in Last Dance. It was his ego on display. LeBron James, all he cares about is his team and his teammates. And here's the greatest player of all time, the greatest scorer of all time, doing what's best for the team. I think once that song starts playing, LeBron's going to dance to it. Paul?
That's a great point, Jason. I could totally see that being the narrative here. It's a way to rescue him from the wolves, so to say. I could totally see that. I agree a lot with what Jay said. This is one game that we saw him do this. And not only was he third or fourth fiddle, I didn't watch the game last night, but I watched the full clip highlights of every play this morning, 20 minutes worth. And it stuck out to me as an NBA All-Star game in terms of everyone standing around and everyone parting the Red Seas to let everyone do exactly what they want. 66 points last night. As Jay said, 140 to the Jazz. What I saw last night from the Los Angeles Lakers was more alarming than anything that I've seen in basketball for a while. Folks, this is not going to work, Jay and Jason. This is not going to work. Luka cannot play defense. Austin Reeves won't be able to play defense. Ayton is soft. And LeBron floated around last night. I'll give him a little bit of leeway in that it's a long layoff, first game back. You don't expect him to rev it up in game 12 or 13 or whatever it is. but he was literally standing around all night long. No box out, no nothing. And I don't expect that to change too much. I think he's just going to float around. When they play a team like OKC, or when they play somebody where it really matters, Houston, OKC, these guys like Steven Adams and Sengun and Lou Dortz and these type of guys, they're going to lock them up. And then teams that can score more than Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George, they're going to struggle and they will get outscored over and over and over. This is a very flawed team that wears yellow jerseys, that's located in Hollywood, that has some star power names on it. But I think it's all going to catch up as we see this play out.
I think Jay and Scap just switched roles here in bodies. That's the kind of attack I expected to hear from you, Scap.
Well, and I was alluding to it. Paul kind of picked up my baton on the defense. Look, the defensive issues with this team.
Hold on, Paul. Let me tell you what Scap just said. I was going to say all that, but what he really means is I didn't have the balls that Paul had, so I held off. And now that Paul has let his drop, I'll drop mine. Go ahead, Scap.
Well, I did, Jason, allude to the defensive issues in my little opening monologue there, which is going to be their undoing. Look, last year, the Denver Nuggets, after they fired Michael Malone with 4 games left in the regular season, they were an atrocious defense. They were the 21st. They ended up being the 21st net rated defense to qualify for the playoffs. That was the worst defense in the NBA to get in. In the postseason under Adelman, after they made the change, the Nuggets actually defended, which is why they got into that 7th game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now they've picked right up where they left off. They were floating around number 2 or number 3 net rated defense all season until last game when they got worked by Chicago. Denver slipped to the 5th net rated defense this year. But that is how you have to attack this current NBA, especially the Western Conference. You have to be elite defensively. Oklahoma City is one of the best net rated defenses this century. In my estimation, they are the best defense this century. I put them above that Boston Celtics, that 2008 Boston Celtics team. I put them maybe even slightly above that Detroit Pistons team from 2004. That is how good this team is defensively in Oklahoma City. And you have to somewhat rise to their level of defense if you want to have any shot at beating them. I think Houston can do it. Denver's trying to figure out a way how to do it. The Lakers will never be able to do it with this roster that they have. Luka Doncic is a subpar to below average defender. Austin Reeves is too. And LeBron James, who had elite, flashes of defense in his past, has been an undeniable liability on that end for at least a decade straight now. They're just not going to be able to get it done in the postseason. There's no way.
Scap's back.
Let me Scap is back. Let me throw some fuel on both of you all's fire. And Scap, I can't believe you're leaving it to me to make this point. I'm just one game and you started backpedaling on LeBron James. Now I got to play the bad guy. I want you to look at LeBron's timing here. His sciatica is cured, or he can now play, and they open with Utah. They get 5 days off, and then they play Utah again. Then they play the LA Clippers. Then they play the Dallas Mavericks. Then they play the Pelicans. Then the Suns. Then Toronto. Then Boston. Philly. Utah. Clippers again. Suns. They don't have a test. They're going to probably go on a nice little run here, and we're going to get to Christmas Day before there's a real test when they play Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. The timing of this couldn't be better. And maybe it's not just LeBron that factored into this timing. Maybe LeBron on this run, this 10, 12 game run, can actually build up some trade value